In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your transmission mount on your Chevy Sonic. It's located under the hood, under the battery. We're going to remove our negative battery terminal first using a 10mm socket. Loosen that up and remove it. Put this somewhere where there isn't any metal. And now we're going to remove our positive battery terminal, same size, 10mm. And you're going to remove that one. I'll set that off to the side. Just get it out of the way. And now we're going to take off this hold down using a 13mm socket and an extension. Remove this bolt. And take that off. If your battery has a handle, it'll make your life a little easier. Pull it forward and out. For this job, you are going to need a floor jack of some sort to hold up the transmission when you do this mount. So know that before beginning. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver and a trim tool, and we're going to pull these out of the tray. Do the same with this one right here. You're going to have one more here behind on this tray, just like these ones that you took out. So use the same tools and remove that one as well. Once those are out, we're going to take out these 3 bolts using a 13mm socket. Set your bolts aside. Now that we've taken out those 3 bolts, we're going to disconnect this little bracket from the tray, like this. I'm just going to wiggle it out. It's kind of just pressed in there. And set that off to the side. And now when we pull this up, you're going to need a bungee cord because we're going to strap it over here somewhere to get it out of our way. You're going to have to get it past this coolant reservoir right here. And get this bracket past the master cylinder, and you're going to pull it up and away, and that's your mount down there. Here's when you put your bungee cord in here. Don't pull too hard, doesn't need a whole lot of room, and you're just going to strap it somewhere else to get it out of your way. You're going to slide your floor jack underneath or whatever you're using. So now we have our jack underneath, and I just want to show you where to put it. Make sure you have a piece of wood between the jack and the transmission, and you're just going to press up on that, and that'll support it as we remove the mount on the top. I'm going to use a 15mm socket and remove these 3 bolts first. Remove that bolt, set it aside, and move on to your next one. Remove that bolt. It's always a good idea to measure your bolts and make sure they're all the same length as you go. And now we're going to do our last one over here. If you see that your transmission starts to fall, you are going to want to recheck your jack because you don't want that to fall too far, and you never know if your jack is malfunctioning. So always give that an extra check. I'm going to bring mine up a tiny bit since it did sink. And now we're going to continue to take that bolt out. Now we're going to move on to the other side of the mount. So down here there's a bolt. You're going to use a 15mm socket to get to it, and also an extension. So you're going to get it past that little bracket, wiggle its way down, and right about there is where you're going to go. Now we're going to remove the bolt. You can remove your tool, take it out the rest of the way by hand, and set it aside. I do want to make a note that you're going to want to make sure you keep all your bolts separate and organized so you know where they came from. Now we're going to get the one on the other side using the same combination of tools, 15mm with an extension, and remove this one. Our last one is right here. You're going to need a longer socket for that one. And slide it down and remove it. Let's take that nut off. And now we're going to remove the whole mount. So to do that, we're just going to move these out of the way and take this right off that stud. You may have to move your harness out of the way to do that. This harness here might be in your way. And remove it. Now we're going to slide this in, and our goal is to get the stud through this hole here. Make sure you don't pinch that harness in there. You want to line up this part of the mount first, and then we'll move our transmission over if we need to line up those. I'm just going to get this nut started on the stud. I'm not going to tighten anything down until I'm lined up. And we'll put our bolts on this side here. Do the same on the other side. Once you have all those started, you can tighten those down. We're just going to snug these up, and at the end we'll torque everything. The manufacturer recommends that you use new bolts when installing your transmission mount to the transmission. You're going to use a punch if you need to, and you're just going to line up your bolt hole. You only need to go for one, and just push the mount over, and you can get your bolt started. And now I'm going to go to this one and get this one started. Once you get two in there, you can let go of that punch. Yeah, let's get our third one in. This is on a rubber bushing, so you can move it if you need to. I've swapped to a ratchet. We're going to snug these up and then torque them to 37 foot-pounds and go another 60 degrees. You don't want to use an air gun on these. It is aluminum, so you don't want to over-tighten and strip things out. Now we're going to use our torque wrench. Again, 37 foot-pounds. So there's 37, and I'm going to go 60 degrees more. We'll just do this one in the back. So there's 37, and I'm going to go 60 degrees more. So there's 37, and I'm going to go 60 degrees more. Torque all of these to 43 foot-pounds, including the nut. Now you can remove your floor jack. And put your tray back. Now we're going to put our tray back on. Now that you have your tray in place, make sure the bolt holes all line up, and we're going to put our plastic grommets back in the hole and reinstall this. So let's start with this. Push that in. We're going to reconnect our harness to the tray over here. Now we're going to put our 3 bolts in the tray. I would start them by hand. Let's tighten these up. And now we can put our battery back in. Now we're going to install our battery. I'm going to place it in the tray. Slide it back. There's a little lip here. You're going to go in like this and then down and line it up with the bolt hole. Feed your bolt in, start it by hand, and snug it up. Now we're going to put our positive battery terminal on first. Slide it over, making sure that your negative is not touching any metal. to start this by hand and snug it up. I'm going to use a wrench to do that so we don't over tighten it. Go about wrist tight and make sure it doesn't move. And you can put this cover back down. And now we're going to put our negative battery terminal on. Slide it over. Make sure you have it turned in a way where you can access this nut. And we're going to tighten this with a wrench as well. Make sure that isn't spinning on the other end there. Tighten that, wrist tight. And make sure it doesn't move, and you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.